Hello everyone, last day for this week. So we're reading Little House in the Big Woods chapter 2 part 2. So today you will be working on your quiz at home. Remember number 8 is asking to tell you the story of Grandpa and the Panther, which is what we're going to read today. Number 8 is extra credit. So this quiz will be out of 9 points. So if you answer number 8 on the back of your quiz, that's an extra credit point, but it has to be, I don't need like 3 paragraphs worth of stuff, but it needs to be full sentences and it needs to tell me the story. Just a couple of details, that kind of thing, and that's an extra credit point. So that means if you miss one of the other 9 questions, and you do the grandpa question, then you get 100% still. All right? So, and if not, then you get an extra credit point towards something else, one of the other quizzes coming up. Okay? So it'd be nice to do that number 8 extra credit question if you want, but if you don't want to, don't worry about it. It's just extra credit. You can skip number 8. Okay? So I decided, instead of doing the whole whiteboard and trying to get the lighting, and Miss Heather was having a YouTube creator moment where I couldn't get the lighting right. So I just thought, I'm not going to deal with that. And instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about our vocab words, and then I'm going to write them down in the description below the video. So that makes it a little bit easier. I don't have to try to hold this whiteboard. I don't have to do anything. It's just in the description below the video. Okay, so our first vocab word is panther. So can anybody tell me what is a panther? Oh wait, you can't answer me. So used to asking. Okay, so we used to have a lot of panthers in Northern California. So now we really only think of, let me see if I can get it a little clear for you. Now we really only think of panthers being in Mexico. We have cougars. We have mountain lions, which are the tan ones. We still have those around here, but we don't have panthers. They were kind of hunted out of our area into South America. But one of our words is panther, and our other vocab word, I don't know why I closed my phone. Our second vocab word is just wood box. So a wood box is technically a wooden box that holds a little bit of firewood. Let's see. Try to make it even darker. There we go. So it's just a wooden box. This one's kind of nice looking, but it's the wood box to hold bits of firewood. All right. So go ahead, get your listening ears turned on. Okay, if you want your notes paper out, or if you want your quiz out, you can, or you can just wait until the end. All right. All right. Okay, so what did we just get off talking about with our chapter 2 part 1? We were talking about Pa bringing home a bear and a pig. Score for that. Pa brought home a bear and a pig, and we talked all about the daily chores of Ma, Laura, and Mary. All right. So now the last thing we left off on was the paper dolls. They talked about making the paper dolls, like how you have in your Friday binder section. Okay. So I'll read that last paragraph and then keep going. After the day's work was done, Ma sometimes cut paper dolls for them. She cut the dolls out of stiff white paper and drew the faces with a pencil. Then, from bits of colored paper, she cut dresses and hats, ribbons and laces, so that Laura and Mary could dress their dolls beautifully. But the best time of all was at night when Pa came home. When he came in from his tramping through the snowy woods with tiny icicles hanging from the ends of his mustache, he would hang his gun on the wall over the door, throw off his fur cap and coat and mittens, and call, Where's my little half pint?" That was Laura, because she was so small. Laura and Mary would run up to climb on his knees and sit there while he warmed himself by the fire. Then he would put on his coat and, cap and mittens again and go out to do the chores. Bring in plenty of wood for the fire. Ooh, some silly's coming. Sometimes when Pa had walked his trap lines quickly because the traps were empty, or when he had got some game sooner than usual, he would come home early. Then he would have time to play with Laura and Mary. One game they loved was called Mad Dog. Pa would run his fingers through his thick brown hair, standing it all on the end. Then he dropped on all fours and growled. So there he is. He's being a crazy dog. He chased Laura and Mary all around the room, trying to get them cornered where they couldn't get away. They were quick at dodging and running, but once he caught them against the wood box behind the stove. They couldn't get past Pa, and there was no other way out. Then Pa growled terribly. His hair was so wild, and his eyes were so fierce that it all seemed real. Mary was so frightened that she could not move, but Pa came nearer. But as Pa came nearer, Laura screamed, and with a wild leap and a scramble, she went over the wood box, dragging Mary with her. And at once there was no Mad Dog at all. There was only Pa, standing there with his blue eyes shining, looking at Laura. "Well," he said, "you're only a little half pint, but by jinks, you're as strong as a little French horse." "You shouldn't frighten the children so, Charles," Ma said. "Look how big their eyes are." Pa looked, and then he took down his fiddle. He began to play and sing. "Yankee Doodle went to town. He wore his striped trousers. He swore he couldn't see the town. There was so many houses." Laura and Mary forgot all about Mad Dog. "And there he saw some great big guns, big as a log of maple, and every time they turned 'em round, it took 2 yoke of cattle. And every time they'd fire 'em off, it took a horn of powder. It made a noise like father's gun, only a nation louder." Pa was keeping time with his foot, and Laura clapped her hands to the music when he sang. "And I'll sing Yankee Doodle, keep it up, and I'll sing Yankee Doodle dandy. Mind the music and the steps, and with the girls be handy." All alone in the big woods and the snow and the cold, this little log house was warm and snug and cozy. Pa and Ma and Mary and Laura and baby Carrie were comfortable and happy there, especially at night. Then the fire was shining on the hearth. The cold and the dark and the wild beasts were all shut out, and Jack the brindle dog and Susan the black cat lay blinking at the flames in the fireplace. Ma sat in her rocking chair sewing by the firelight of the lamp on the table. The lamp was bright and shiny. There was salt in the bottom of its glass bowl with the kerosene to keep the kerosene from exploding, and there were bits of red flannel among the salt to make it pretty. It was pretty. Laura loved to look at the lamp, with its glass chimney so tall and sparkling, its yellow flame burning so steadily, and its bowl of clear kerosene colored red with bits of flannel. She loved to look at the fire in the fireplace, flickering and changing all the time, burning yellow and red, sometimes green above the logs. Hovering blue, red, and golden and ruby coals. And then Pa told stories. When Laura and Mary begged him for a story, he would take them in his knees and tickle their faces with his long mustache whiskers until they laughed aloud. His eyes were blue and happy. One night, Pa looked at Susan the black cat, stretching herself before the fire and running her claws up and out, in and out. And he said, "Do you know that a panther is a cat, a great big wild cat?" "No," said Laura. Well, it is, said Pa. Just imagine Susan bigger than Jack and fiercer than Jack when he growls. Then she would be just like a panther. He settled Laura and Mary more comfortably on his knees, and he said, I'll tell you about Grandpa and the panther. Your grandpa? Laura asked. No, Laura, your grandpa, my father. Oh, Laura said, and she wriggled closer in against Pa's arm. She knew her grandpa. He lived far away in the big woods in a big log house. Pa began the story of Grandpa and the panther. Your grandpa went to town one day and was late starting home. It was dark when he came riding his horse through the big woods, so dark that he could hardly see the road. And when he heard a panther scream, he was frightened, for he had no gun. How does a panther scream? Laura asked. Like a woman, said Pa. Like this. I think we better actually hear a panther scream because I don't know how a panther screams. Let's see. Panther scream? Let's check. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Did you hear that? It was like a... It is like a person. Ah! Can you imagine something behind you going, ah! Oh, that would be so scary in a dark forest. Ah! Then he screamed so that Laura and Mary shivered with terror, just like the panther. Ma jumped in her chair and said, Mercy, Charles! But Laura and Mary loved to be scared like that. The horse with Grandpa on him ran fast, for it was frightened too. But it could not get away from the panther. The panther followed through the dark woods. It was a hungry panther, and it came as fast as the horse could run. It screamed now on this side of the road, now on the other side, and it was always close behind. Grandpa leaned forward in the saddle and urged the horse to run faster. The horse was running as fast as it could possibly run, and still the panther screamed close behind it. Then Grandpa caught a glimpse of it as it leaned from treetop to treetop almost overhead. It was a huge black panther. It was leaping through the air like Susan leaping on a mouse. It was many, many times bigger than our little black cat Susan. It was so big that if it leaped on Grandpa, it could have killed him. With its enormous slashing claws and its long, sharp teeth. Grandpa on his horse was running away from it, just as a mouse ran from a cat. The panther did not scream anymore. Grandpa did not see it anymore, but he knew that it was coming. Leaping after him in the dark woods behind him, the horse ran with all its might. At last the horse ran up to Grandpa's house. Grandpa saw the panther springing. Grandpa jumped off the horse against the door. He burst through the door and slammed it behind him. The panther landed on the horse's back, just where Grandpa had been. The horse screamed terribly and ran. He was running away into the big woods with the panther riding on his back and ripping his back with its claws. But Grandpa grabbed his gun from the wall and got to the window just in time to shoot the panther dead. Grandpa said he would never again go into the big woods without his gun. When Pa told his story, Laura and Mary shivered and snuggled closer to him. They were safe and snug on his knees, with the strong arms around them. They liked to be there, before the warm fire, with their black cat Susan purring on the hearth and their good dog Jack stretched out beside her. When they heard a wolf howl, Jack's head lifted, and the hairs rose stiff along his back. But Laura and Mary listened to the only sound in the dark and the cold of the big woods, and they were not afraid. They were cozy and comfortable in their little house made of logs, with the snow drifted around it and the wind crying because it could not get in by the fire. All right. That was a pretty exciting story, huh? Woo! Yikes, I would not want to be next to a panther, that's for sure. Yeah, you can go to, where's a panther? You can go to the Oakland Zoo, has a black panther. And they're very cool. If you, in a couple of weeks when things clear up, you guys want to take a trip to the Oakland Zoo during summer, that'd be fun. They have panthers there, and they're very big and scary. And that was an exciting story. So let's recap a couple of things. So we have our quiz. So we have our title of our book. We have our author of our book. We have, what else? Let's see. What's the setting of the story? We've talked a lot of times. What does setting mean? What does setting mean? Setting means where it took place. Did they go on to the Pacific Ocean and go fishing for whales? No. Think about the setting. Where did this happen? And write it in a full sentence. Some of the other things we refreshed on and we talked about just today and yesterday. So if you need to, look at your notes. Be sure you've got at least 4 notes for each day. So you should have at least 16 bullet point notes. All right, remember, they don't have to be perfectly spelled right. It's nice if they are. Really nice if they are. But these are just little notes to help you on your quiz and just to show me that you're listening. And don't forget, you should have how many? Let's see here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, I think 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, you should have 10 vocab words. All right, so I should see 10 definitions. And don't forget, I will put the definitions for panther and woodbox in the description box below. So you guys can go ahead and write those. You don't have to have me holding that weird board. Okay, so if you have any questions, go ahead and contact me. And if not, if you think you just need to go back and listen some more, please listen some more. What's my catchphrase? Go slow and think about it. All right. So exciting stuff. I can't wait to hear how this went. I'll go ahead and call you all later today, Thursday afternoon, and check and see how it went. And I'll be excited for tomorrow because I gave everyone a dolls paper. Let's see, can you see it right there? So, and I gave you each a couple pieces of colored construction paper. So how you're supposed to do that is you're going to cut out your person carefully, cut out their clothes carefully, and then it gives you your instructions down here on how to design your clothes. All right, so for the boys, you can give them shorts, for the boys, you can give them shorts or pants. All right, so that'll be really fun, and I'd love to see pictures of those. I don't want to take them or hang them in the classroom or anything, but I'd love to see the pictures, just a picture of your people, because I think that would be really fun. A really fun thing for us to do. And then on Friday, I have you doing your homes today and yesterday paper. This one. So here we have our log cabin up here and our home of today. All right, and you're just telling me in full sentences, capital at the beginning, periods at the end, only one full thought per sentence. Okay, the differences between Laura's home, the log cabin, and our homes today. All right, and be sure to read the instructions. So that's all we're doing for the rest of the week. And if you want to do those at different times, go ahead. But yeah, that's all I require, and I'm excited to hear how this all went. Let me know if you have any feedback for me. All right, I love you all, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.